What's up, everybody? Blessed be. My name is Mannun, and you are watching Witch in the Working, where we will be discussing all things witchy in and around, throughout and about, above, below, and beyond. Please visit my other platforms as well, including Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon, all linked down in the description below. The full script to this video and most of the others is available on my Patreon account for download if desired to build your Witch in the Working Book of Shadows. Also, please visit my Shopify store listed in the description below to get your Witch in the Working shirts, mugs, stickers, bags, beanies, and what have you. Throughout history, the concept of karma has been a fundamental part of many religious and philosophical traditions. At its core, karma is the belief that every action has consequences that can affect an individual in this life or in future incarnations. And this idea of cause and effect is often closely linked to the concept of retribution, which suggests that one will receive punishment or reward for their actions. In Wiccan and neo-pagan traditions, the Threefold Law is a fundamental principle that governs the consequences of one's action. This law states that whatever energy a person puts out into the world, whether positive or negative, will return to them threefold. And this concept of cause and effect is deeply intertwined with the practice of magic, as some Wiccans believe that every spell or ritual they cast will come back to them with increased force. In this video, we'll explore the origins and significance of the Threefold Law, examining how it has influenced Wiccan and neo-pagan moral and ethical codes. We will also be exploring the significance of karma and retribution throughout witchcraft traditions, examining how these concepts have influenced moral and ethical codes of the occult community today. So without further babbling, roll the intro. Welcome back, everyone. So I couldn't miss out on this gorgeous day up here in the Northeast, so I had to take advantage of it. Decided to shoot the video out here in the woods in my favorite little spot. I like to call it Mannun's Creek, but it's totally awesome. Love it out here, and psyched that the weather's back to getting away from the snow. I like the snow a lot too, don't get me wrong, but you know, I'm starting to appreciate the summer months now that I've moved from Florida to the Northeast. Let's just put it that way. So karma is a concept that originated in ancient Indian religions and is now a popular belief in many cultures around the world. It is the idea that our actions, both good and bad, have consequences that affect us in this life and beyond. The term karma is derived from the Sanskrit word karman, which means action or deed. According to the concept of karma, every action we take, whether it is physical or mental, has an effect on our future. Good actions lead to positive consequences, while bad actions lead to negative consequences. The effects of our actions may not be immediate, but they are believed to accumulate over time and shape our destiny, so to speak. Karma is often described as a universal law of cause and effect. This means that our actions create energy that can manifest in different forms, including our experiences, relationships, and even our physical health. Positive actions create positive energy, which can attract positive outcomes and experiences, while negative actions create negative energy, which can attract negative outcomes and negative experiences. In addition to shaping our individual destinies, karma is also believed to play a role in the larger scheme of things. Some spiritual traditions believe that our actions have an impact on the world around us and can contribute to the overall state of the universe. There are different types of karma that are believed to affect us. The most commonly recognized type is karma phala, which refers to the consequences of our actions. This includes both the positive and negative outcomes that result from our deeds. Another type of karma is called samskara, which refers to the impressions that our actions leave on our minds and consequences. These impressions can influence our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in the future and can shape our character. Karma is not necessarily deterministic, meaning that we still have free will to make choices and decisions. However, the choices we make can influence the type of karma we create and the consequences that result from our actions. Many spiritual traditions emphasize the importance of cultivating positive karma through selfless actions, kindness, and compassion. By doing so, we not only create positive outcomes for ourselves, but also contribute to the greater good of society and the world around us. To wind it all up into a neat little ball, Karma is a concept that emphasizes the idea that our actions have consequences that shape our destiny. It's believed to be a universal law of cause and effect that applies to all aspects of life, including our individual experiences and the world around us. Many believe that understanding and cultivating positive karma can create a better future for ourselves and the world. The Threefold Law of Retribution is a concept often associated with modern witchcraft and Wicca. It's a belief that what one puts out into the universe will come back to them threefold. The law is based on the concept of balance and harmony in the universe. It suggests that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The Threefold Law is a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. It implies that our actions have an impact not only on ourselves, but also on the world around us. It's a belief that encourages individuals to think carefully about the energy they put out into the world and strive to create positive outcomes for themselves and those around them. The Threefold Law is often used as a tool for promoting accountability and responsibility for one's actions. It encourages individuals to be mindful of the energy and intentions they put out into the world, knowing that the effects will come back to them threefold. This encourages people to think about the consequences of their actions, to consider the impact of their behavior on others, and to strive for harmony and balance in their lives. For example, if someone intentionally harms another person, they may experience negative consequences that are 3 times greater than the harm they caused. Alternatively, if someone shows kindness and generosity to others, they may receive positive outcomes that are 3 times greater than the kindness they showed. This law is often seen as a way to promote positive behavior and discourage negative behavior. And also keep in mind that this doesn't work in like kind, meaning that if, for instance, you push someone off their bike to be an asshole, that at some point in your life you're going to get into a major motorcycle accident. Or if you steal a candy bar from a store, that someday you're going to have your house robbed. It really, in my opinion, follows more with karmic laws discussed earlier, in that if you start setting up negative energies in your life, ultimately because everything is cyclical, what comes around goes around type of scenario. And vice versa. If you begin to implement a series of positive things exuding from your life, ultimately these energies as well will come back to you, but on the positive instead of negative. And my philosophy of why does the energy, regardless of positive or negative, grow to a threefold or larger effect? Well, it's because, like a snowball, it begins to pick up momentum and gather elements around it as it travels, therefore becoming larger and larger until it makes the return trip to its original creator, you. The Threefold Law is not a strict rule or law of nature. It is a belief that is open to interpretation and can vary from person to person. Some practitioners of witchcraft and Wicca may not subscribe to the concept of the Threefold Law, or may have their own interpretations of how it works. For instance, I always say, harm ye none, but take no shit. Again, the Threefold Law of Retribution is a belief that what one puts out into the universe will come back to them threefold. It's a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things and encourages individuals to be mindful of the energy they put out into the universe or the world or what have you. The law is often used as a tool for promoting accountability and responsibility for one's actions and for encouraging positive behavior. While the Threefold Law is not a strict rule or law of nature, it is a belief that has a significant impact on the way some people choose to live their lives. The Wiccan Rede is a statement of ethical principle that is central to modern witchcraft and Wicca, but certainly not all traditions of Wicca or witchcraft. It is a simple phrase that is often expressed, and it harm none, do what you will. The Rede is a guiding principle for many who follow this spiritual path, and it emphasizes the importance of living in harmony with the natural world and treating others with respect and kindness. The word Rede is derived from an Old English word meaning advice or counsel. In the context of modern witchcraft and Wicca, the Wiccan Rede is seen as a piece of advice or counsel that is important to many in the spiritual path of those who follow this religion. The phrase, and it harm none, do what ye will, is often interpreted to mean that individuals are free to pursue their own desires and live their lives as they see fit, as long as their actions do not cause harm to others. This principle emphasizes the importance of being mindful of the impact one's actions have on others and on the natural world around them. The Wiccan Rede encourages individuals to live in harmony with nature and the universe. It's often seen as a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things and the importance of treating others with respect and kindness. This principle is key to the spiritual path of many practitioners of modern witchcraft and Wicca. The Wiccan Rede and the Threefold Law are 2 examples of the ethical principles that are a part of the foundations to modern witchcraft and Wicca. They encourage individuals to be mindful of the impact their actions have on themselves and others, to strive to create positive outcomes for all. The Wiccan Reed is not a strict rule or law. It is a guiding principle that is open to interpretation and can vary from person to person, just like the threefold discussed earlier. Some practitioners of modern witchcraft and Wicca may interpret the Reed in a more restrictive way, while others may interpret it more liberally. However, the underlying principle of living in harmony with the natural world and treating others with respect and kindness is important to the spiritual path of those who follow this tradition. So let's talk a little more about the threefold law. For some, they take it in the literal sense that whatever you put out, you're going to get back 3 times greater, whether positive or negative. Some examples are, for example, a person who engages in acts of kindness and generosity may receive positive outcomes that are 3 times greater than the kindness they showed. For example, if someone volunteers at a homeless shelter and helps others, they may receive unexpected financial or personal blessings that are 3 times greater than the time and energy that they invested. A person who intentionally harms another person may experience negative consequences that are 3 times greater than the harm they caused. For example, if someone lies to a friend and causes them to lose their job, they may experience significant setbacks in their own life, such as losing their own job, experiencing financial hardship, or losing the trust of those around them. A person who engages in destructive behaviors may experience negative consequences that are 3 times greater than the harm they caused. For example, if someone engages in drug use or other harmful habits, they may experience negative effects on their physical health, emotional well-being, and relationships that are 3 times greater than the damage caused by their behavior. A person who spreads positive energy and goodwill may experience positive outcomes that are 3 times greater than the positivity they put out into the world. For example, if someone spreads loving kindness to those around them, they may receive unexpected blessings, opportunities, and connections that are 3 times greater than the positive energy they put out there. These examples demonstrate how the threefold law of retribution can manifest in various ways in one's life. While the exact nature and timing of the effect of one's actions are unpredictable, the belief in this law encourages individuals to be mindful of the energy that they put out into the world and strive to create positive outcomes for themselves and others. Let's talk a little more about the Wiccan Reed. There is more to this reed than "and it harm none, do as you will." There's a more involved, longer version called the Long Reed. It goes, "Bide the Wiccan laws ye must in perfect love and perfect trust. Live and let live, fairly take and fairly give. Cast the circle thrice about to keep all evil spirits out. To bind the spell every time, let the spell be spake in rhyme. Soft of eye and light of touch, speak little, listen much. Deals shall go by the waxing moon, sing and dance the Wiccan rune. Widdershins go when the moon doth wane, and the werewolf howls by the dread wolf's bane. When the lady's moon is new, kiss thy hand to her times 2. When the moon rides at her peak, then your heart's desire seek. Heed the north wind's mighty gale, lock the door and drop the sail. When the wind comes from the south, love will kiss thee on the mouth. When the wind blows from the east, expect the new and set the feast. When the west wind blows o'er thee, departed souls restless be. 9 woods in the cauldron go, burn them quick and burn them slow. Elder be ye lady's tree, burn it not or cursed you'll be. When the wheel begins to turn, let the Beltane fires burn. When the wheel has turned a Yule, light the log and let Pan rule. Heed ye flower, bush, and tree, by the lady blessed be. Where the rippling waters go, cast a stone, in truth you'll know. When ye have need, hearken not to others' greed. With the fool no season spend, or be counted as his friend. Merry meet and merry part, brighten the cheeks and warm the heart. Mind the threefold law ye should, 3 times bad and 3 times good. When misfortune is enow, wear the blue star on thy brow. True in love ever be, unless thy lover's false to thee. 8 words ye Wiccan Reed fulfill, and it harm none, do what ye will. In 1974, Earth Religion News published a 26-line poem titled The Wiccan Reed, which contained a rhymed couplet laid out as a single line, culminating in the well-known short reed, a couplet that begins with 8 words. Soon after, Lady Gwen Thompson published another slightly different version called The Reed of the Wicca in Green Egg magazine, which she attributed to her grandmother, Adriana Porter. Thompson claimed that the earlier published text was distorted from its original form. This poem, widely known as the Long Reed, has since been circulated in various versions and layouts, including additional or variant passages. However, the originality of Thompson's version of the Reed is disputed due to the language of the poem referring to Wiccan concepts that did not exist during her grandmother's lifetime. Some claim that it was adapted from a speech given by Doreen Valiente at a dinner sponsored by the Witchcraft Research Association, which was mentioned in Volume 1 of the Pentagram, a UK pagan newsletter that was being published at the time. Robert Matheson is an American historian, writer, and Wiccan practitioner. He's a member of the Covenant of the Goddess and has written extensively on the history of witchcraft and paganism, and he suggested that 18 to 20 of the verses in the Long Read are lore that would be common to the rural areas of 17th to 19th century New England, compiled by someone born no later than the late 19th century. At least 6 of the verses deemed the Wiccan verses were compiled and added by a second hand. Since Thompson was dispensing the 26 verses as a whole from around 1969, it's reasonable to assume that hers was the second hand. Doreen Valiente, on the other hand, published a poem called The Witch's Creed in her 1978 book, Witchcraft for Tomorrow, which contains similar concepts to the Long Read. While the original authorship of the Long Read remains a matter of debate, it has become a well-known piece in modern Wicca and neo-pagan traditions, emphasizing the importance of personal responsibility, harmlessness, and the pursuit of wisdom and balance. Don Frew is an American Wiccan high priest and interfaith activist. He's a member of the Covenant of the Goddess and has served on the board of directors of the Interfaith Center at the Presidio in San Francisco, and he states that the couplet, "Do what you will so long as you harm none," was composed by Valiente in response to Gardner's assertion that witches follow the morality of good King Postle. Frew argues against the common belief that the reed was copied from Aleister Crowley, stating that this has led to the misquoting of the phrase as "and it harm none, do what thou wilt," instead of "do what you will." There's a dispute over the attribution of the Long Read to Adriana Porter. Adriana Porter is a figure in the history of modern Wicca, according to her granddaughter Gwen Thompson, who I spoke of earlier. Porter was a hereditary witch who passed down family traditions and teachings to her descendants. There is some doubt, though, because she died before Gardner's publication of the Old Laws, and there is no evidence to support Thompson's claim that her grandmother did in fact write it. The poem refers to Wiccan concepts that may predate the 1940s and may have been an attempt to expand Valiente's couplet into a full Wiccan credo. Some argue that the Long Read was likely created between 1964 and 1975 based on the misuse of archaic English in the poem. Robert Matheson agrees that the poem may have been written in the early 20th century and may have originated from Porter's folkloric form, but was altered by Thompson to include Wiccan material. The last line was likely a Thompson addition derived from Valiente, and the 1974 variant of the text may represent an earlier draft. Thompson published what she claimed was Porter's original poem, but this was false according to Matheson. So what does all this mean? Basically, "and it harm none, do as you will" is a read. There is no definite answer as to when and who developed it and why. However, the Long Read, all of the addition, is most likely a creation from some very creative witches in the 1960s and 70s. Karma, retribution, and the Threefold Law are interrelated concepts that play a significant role in Wiccan beliefs and practices. Karma refers to the belief that every action has consequences that affect individuals in this life or in future incarnations. Retribution is the idea that individuals will receive punishment or reward for their actions. The Threefold Law is a Wiccan principle that states that whatever energy a person puts out into the world will return to them threefold. Together, these concepts form a foundation for Wiccan ethical and moral codes. Wiccans believe in personal responsibility and the importance of living in harmony with the natural world. The Threefold Law serves as a reminder that every action has consequences and encourages individuals to consider the impact of their actions on themselves and others. Karma and retribution reinforce the idea of personal responsibility, the importance of making ethical choices in all aspects of life. In Wicca today, these concepts continue to shape beliefs and practices. They're often incorporated into spell work, rituals, and other forms of magic. Practitioners believe that their actions and intentions have a direct impact on the energy around them, and that by living in harmony with the natural world and practicing ethical behavior, they can positively influence their own lives and the world around them. Overall, these concepts are a fundamental part of many occult spiritualities, providing a framework for personal growth, ethical decision-making, and spiritual development. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of What's in the Working. How do you feel about karma and retribution in your practice? Do you adhere to the Threefold Law of Retribution? Let us all know down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to ring that little bell to be reminded of wonderful and exciting future episodes to come. I love you guys and gals. Blessed be.